want to give any of my money to a nation based on war. I wanted to be free.
Hey everyone, this is Tatiana from Bitcoin Magazine, and I'm here with my friend Lynn Ulbricht, famous for the free Ross trial right now. Lynn, thank you very much for joining me here today.
My pleasure.
So why don't you tell people back at home, what's been going on, and for people that don't really know about this case, what is this case really about?
Well, my son Ross Ulbricht is the defendant in the case, and basically he is being accused of creating and operating the Silk Road Marketplace, which was an anonymous marketplace on the web, which allowed many things to be sold, not everything. Did not allow things that, from what I've read, I haven't been on it, harmed or no child porn, that sort of thing, but it did allow drugs, and he is being accused of being the person who provided that platform, although the actual counts are more specific.
What are they? So, because this is sort of an unusual case, and there's a lot of implications for other, I guess, facets of the internet world.
Right, because, well, it gets kind of confusing, because from what I understand, basically they are alleging that Ross was Dread Pirate Roberts, or DPR, who provided this platform where other people bought and sold things. However, the counts are narcotics trafficking, which means he would have had to have been actually doing a drug deal. And then they say in the same sentence, but even if he wasn't actually doing the drug deal, well, he was aiding and abetting someone else to do the drug deal, which actually has the same penalty as if you actually did it. It's kind of like the guy who drives the getaway car but didn't go into the bank to rob, but it's very close. And then they say even if he didn't do that, it was a conspiracy. He conspired with others to sell drugs. And then they also, another count is selling drugs on the internet, which is, and this is all for just the same supposed sale of narcotics. So they pile on different counts, all referring back to the same action, which Ross's lawyer said is very typical of what they do. They pile on counts. And then the final one, drug kingpin, because there's all of this activity. But the problem is you can't be an aider and abetter and a kingpin. It just doesn't make sense. So they're just throwing on what they can, and it's very prejudicial to a jury who's like, wow, that's a lot, when it's really narcotics trafficking in various forms. And then they also are accusing him of conspiracy to computer hacking. The problem is you have to have actually hacked into a computer or conspired with someone to do that. They're saying because some people sold software on Silk Road that could be used that way, that makes whoever was operating it, and they say it's him, a hacker. And then and then money laundering, which I don't even understand that one. And then conspiring to sell false identification.
Wow, that's a really
That's
long,
a mouthful.
That's a long list of things. Wow, I don't even know where to begin. What is his what is his day-to-day like? How's he feeling about this? What's the timeline looking like? When is this going to be resolved? Because I've been following. It seems like every time there's some sort of an argument presented, it gets shot down by the judge. And I don't know if I agree that these are reasonable decisions, because it's like they're making up the rules as they go in order to suit their purposes.
Well, the judge, that's her job, is to determine, what to accept in her opinion. Now, other people disagree with her opinion, but she's the final word on that. And we were hoping, and we were disappointed we didn't get an evidentiary hearing to examine with impartial expert witnesses the FBI's explanation of how they found the Silk Road server. Because many experts have said it was impossible what they say. Others have even come right out and said they're lying. And we would have liked to have seen them have to explain it. So that didn't happen, and that's her prerogative. There are other legal experts
But
who
why?
didn't agree. The reasoning is that because Ross did not claim ownership of the server, that he has no right to ask, basically. He has no standing to ask. And so basically, from what I gather, the FBI is basically saying, well, even if it was illegal, it doesn't matter because he has no standing to challenge it. And so that's the opinion. And I feel, just as a citizen, if our government is indeed making explanations of how they found evidence under oath that doesn't make sense, that experts say doesn't make sense and could be false, that's disconcerting. Very disconcerting. But anyway, and as far as the timeline, we were very glad because the trial has been postponed till after the holidays, till January 5th. And the reason I was so relieved is that the judge had ordered that Ross have access to discovery evidence, and back in February. And it has been one long saga of obstruction and delay of getting this evidence. And he had two very important pieces that, one of them an image of the Silk Road Forum that he hadn't been able to see. And he's being buried in about 6 terabytes, which is a lot. That's like the Library of Congress twice over or something.
Wow.
It's a ton. And time was running out because the trial was November 10th originally. And so now at least he hopefully will have time to review the things that are very important. We're still dealing with this. He still doesn't have it. Apparently it's in the prison now, but now we're running up against the bureaucracy of the prison and a particular correctional officer who is going basically against protocol and obstructing it for 2 weeks now. And so now, we're working through that for her to understand that no, it's okay, he gets to look at this. And it's a constant struggle between the prison bureaucracy, the prosecution. It's a very dense bureaucracy. And I sometimes get the feeling it's being used against him.
Yeah, I think that is the case. And in general, I think that when I personally have just been finding that the justice system is failing us a lot, and I think that's why some of the things in Bitcoin can potentially help with that as well. What is his day-to-day life? I mean, thinking about, the holidays are coming up. What's it like in prison? Is he okay? How's he feeling? How are his spirits? How is his interaction with the other prisoners?
Mm-hmm. I just saw him. I just came straight over here from the prison. Ross just amazes me. He's such a positive person. He's so, I don't know. He doesn't like to upset me, I think is part of it, But he's always happy to see me, of course, and his dad and friends. And, he's playing ping pong on his off time. He's trying to see the discovery when he can and working hard at that when he's allowed to. He doesn't even complain, sometimes he doesn't, he wasn't in the beginning, even getting to eat. He had to decide between eating and seeing the evidence because they hadn't gotten that straightened out. And I'd come and he'd go, "Get me something out of the vending machine now, I'm starving."
Oh my gosh.
And, but I think they've gotten that, it's like, there are some decent people that work in the prison, I want to say. There are some good people, and then there's other people that are either not real smart or kind of difficult. And it's just like anywhere, And so anyway, he's had help, and he's also had obstruction. But as far as getting along with the other prisoners and that kind of thing, Ross gets along with people. He cares about people. He's just the kind of person. Recently, Roger Ver tweeted and he said a reporter told him he was struggling to find anyone to say anything negative about Ross. So I guess they're really trying. And he can't find anybody because Ross is so likable. Because he cares about people. And that translates to the prison too. I mentioned it at Portfest actually. A guy in the visiting room turned to me and he goes, "Ross is a good guy and I'm watching out for him." And that guy's a tough guy. I was like, "Thank you." He just gets along with people, and so I don't worry about his safety really, or it seems like it's a little community and there's difficult moments, but, in general, I think he's all right. I think what's hard for him, he loves nature, he loves the outdoors. He hasn't been outside in over a year now. He just has gray. And one time I wore a red sweater and he was like, wow, color, because you see gray and metal, and it's pretty sterile and grim. And then, he just says he misses the sun, and in the summer there's some rays that come through the window. And he said he and a guy from actually the Dominican Republic, the two of them were lying in this tiny little bit of sunshine. Yeah, and they were going, yeah, sun, and I'm like, get your vitamin D.
Oh my gosh.
And but now the slant isn't right because it's getting to be fall, and those little things that we don't think about. And then he said, and I miss the company of women. These are all guys here. I get tired of it. So,
just a little bit of estrogen in there.
Yeah. So, but he keeps his spirits up. He sees the big picture. He's working hard. He gets frustrated. I get frustrated. His dad too. We're all like, make your case, but give him what he's supposed to have,
right,
so he can defend himself.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that's in the Constitution, actually. It's due process. And so we were glad that it was delayed. It means more time in prison. But Ross said, well, I've been here over a year, 2 more months, I'll just do it,
And so, you said it's January 5th.
Mm-hmm.
What happens at that trial, and what happens if it doesn't go well, and what happens if it goes well?
Well, if it goes well, from what I can see...
Would he be free the next day, or...?
I think so. I don't know the schedule, but if he's acquitted, I believe they're free. I don't know this. This is just my personal from reading what they've said. Their charges are rather vague, and I don't know that they have anything more than circumstantial evidence. I don't know. But assuming that the right thing happens and the jury acquits Ross, then he'll be free. If they don't, then he would go to a regular prison, and he would have the option to appeal.
Right, which I'm assuming you would go forward with.
I'm assuming he would want to, yes.
Is he writing anything about it? I'm sure people are wondering, what's on his mind, but he can't share that kind of stuff right now, right?
Yeah, the lawyers really don't want him making statements. He did send that message to Porkfest that they said was okay, because things can be used against you, even things that you wouldn't think.
Right, that makes sense. So how can people get involved? How can people help out? Obviously, the lawyer bills, I'm sure, are adding up.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be someone with a team of lawyers. I never wanted to be either.
Well, hopefully they know what they're doing, so it's important.
Yes. No, we wanted him to have the best representation, and they're being great. They're not saying, hey, you don't pay up and we won't show up. They're working with us, but it's a lot. We owe them a lot of money. And anything can help, and people have helped, and Roger Veer and other couple of other large donors and a lot of smaller donors. It's been really heartening and encouraging, but yeah, it's big expense. And freeross.org, you can donate, and
you get this cool T-shirt.
Yeah, a T-shirt. Well, it's not up there yet. It's actually, there's one on Cafe Press, I think, but I'm going to put some up that you can pay in Bitcoin. I'm trying to get them available in Bitcoin. We can work. I haven't worked that out yet, but I will.
Well, I know a lot of ladies are looking for some ladies' cuts, so just putting that out there.
Okay, good. I'll add that to our Cafe Press inventory.
Excellent.
But anyway, yeah, any little bit helps. And people have also volunteered time and information and contacts and all of that, and it all helps. So.
All right, great.
Yeah,
well,
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Your support.
Oh, I'm very happy to do it. No,
Yeah.
very happy, and and I hope that we can catch up again.
Yes.
I'm going to Australia, so I'll be gone for a little bit. But when I get back, hopefully Ross will be out and free. And
when are you coming back?
I bought a one-way ticket.
Ah.
Yeah. So,
okay. Well.
I'm gonna go and do some different stuff for the magazine.
Nice.
So. But I'll be spreading the word over there as
Wonderful.
well. This is something that's really caught my attention. The thing is that the Silk Road is an important case for so many reasons, but it also underlines the violence in the current war on drugs. I mean, arguably the Silk Road did a service for people because drugs aren't going out of style. It's very unfortunate that people feel the need to continue to do them, but it seems like there's so much violence right now, and the Silk Road made it a lot safer for people. So
Yeah, there have been studies on that. I've read studies on that.
right.
Silk Road is doing better than ever, and DPR is running it, by the way.
Well, that's the funny thing, right? They tried to get rid of it, and now it came back stronger. So,
And there's a bunch of offshoots as well.
right. Well, I mean, there's a market for it, unfortunately, but at least it's done in a more safe way. You don't have to go in a back alley and get your smack or whatever. And you can also tell what you're getting, so it's not. I don't know. I mean, I'm not pro drugs. Everybody should do that, but if you're going to do them, it should be done in a safe environment. And I think that most people would agree with that. It's unfortunate that the government looks at it a little differently. But maybe this will help push that conversation into the forefront.
The other thing I think is important to see is that this, and many people are saying this, not just me, is that if a website host, in this case for the first time, is held liable for what the users on the site do, it could open a crack in the door for precedent for other website hosts to be criminally liable in the future.
Wow.
And Ed Goldman wrote about it in Forbes and said it would put a chill on the internet. And other people have written about it too. And it then makes it kind of like, why host a website if you're taking that chance? Because, you know, if that precedent is set.
Wow.
And that's something to consider as well. Holding one person responsible for what other people do, you know.
Right.
So, of course, that, you know, anyway, that's another reason that the precedent is important.
Well, it sounds like a big mess, and I hope
It's a big mess, yes.
I mean,
would say that's a good
I wish you
description.
and your family all the
Thank
best.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much for
much.
joining me here today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
Everybody, please go out and spread the word, donate, do whatever you can, and not just one time. I mean, this is something that needs to be kept in people's minds constantly, so keep pushing it out. What's the Twitter? Free_Ross?
Yeah, Twitter is free_Ross, and then the website's freeross.org.
Excellent. Thank you very much for joining me.